Discord breach exposes thousands of users' personal information. What Discord is saying happened and which users were impacted. Google and Apple moved to require additional age verification on their app stores. Who will this affect and how? More Steam developers are moving to Offsite patches. We'll look at Steam's current policy regarding offsite patches and what developers can do to protect themselves. I was interviewed for a Spanish newspaper and was also on a podcast. We'll find out how much shame I brought to my ancestors. Illumination announces the return of a 40-year-old franchise, and Carnal Instinct has a new update on Steam. All this and the top 5 most played new adult Steam games in October. Last month, I talked about new ID laws sweeping the globe. As companies have moved towards compliance, we have already seen a major information breach involving Discord, which, according to Discord, may have contained government ID photos of Discord members complying with the age verification process being exposed. While Discord claims that this involved a breach of a third-party service provider, 5CA, and not Discord directly, this was still Discord users being impacted by complying with Discord's interpretation of emerging age identification laws. This is not just about adult content. New ID regulations are impacting people all over the world. Texas Bill SB 2420, which goes into effect January 1st, requires all app users to verify their age in order to use any app from platforms like Google Play and the Apple App Store. While there are exceptions for some emergency service, nonprofit, and government apps, this mirrors laws going into effect next year in Utah and Louisiana. These and other increased regulations have resulted in a greater number of developers moving to release their games on Steam with offsite patches to restore the flavors and artistic intent of the original material. While offsite patches are not expressly prohibited by Steam, there is a policy against sharing their existence anywhere on the Steam platform. Please note that you won't be able to advertise or link or otherwise tell your players how to add the adult content from Steam itself. This means places like the base game store page, announcements for the base game, discussion forums, from in-game in the base game, etc. So a publisher or developer can release a game on Steam with an offsite patch, but they have to be very careful with how they share that information with their audience. I will continue to work to let you all know which games contain patches, but even I have trouble figuring out if a game actually has a patch or not sometimes. There are also cases where a Steam release will have previous content permanently removed, like with Fate Stay Night Remastered. I will talk more about the potential ramifications of this in a podcast later this year. On a more personal note, I did not realize that in my covering the news, I would sometimes become part of the news. Over the past few months, I have been reached out to by various journalists and news agencies. While I usually respectfully decline to comment, this time I did say yes for an article and a podcast. For the article, I answered some questions for the Spanish newspaper El Diario. While not everything I talked about with the reporter was used, I appreciate the opportunity to speak up for our industry. As for the podcast, it was with Chris Plant on the October 6th episode of Postgames. You can listen for free on Spotify and Apple, as well as on the link I'll share for free on my Patreon. This was my first time being interviewed on a podcast, and it really shows. Hopefully, I'll do better in the future. In gaming news, Illumination has announced plans to bring back the Super Real Mahjong series with Super Real Mahjong Venus Returns. This series has been around since the 80s, and while the last game, Super Real Mahjong P8, came out in 2018, it was on mobile. The last PC release was in the 1990s, so it will be interesting to see how this game is updated into a modern VR optional title. Carnal Instinct just had a new update on Steam. In it, there are a bunch of new customizations like hair and tattoos, as well as new creature interactions with drakes and centaurs. If you want to check it out, the updates are available on Patreon as well as Steam, but you will need to make sure to opt into the Unreal Engine 5 beta if you want to play on Steam. And the top 5 most played new Steam games this month are The The Censor DX Edition, Romantic Escapades, Spooky Milk Life, AV Director Life, and Euphoria. I will continue to expand upon the news in upcoming podcasts where I tend to take more editorial positions about the changing conditions in the gaming industry. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, no shaming, just gaming.